How do you successfully navigate Single Pilot IFR during Florida summer storms? With a mixture of onboard weather, good communications, and solid aeronautical decision making. And it doesn't hurt to have a little angel sitting on your shoulder too.
Cleared to Fort Lauderdale Executive Airport is filed. After departure, fly the runway heading, maintain 2,000, expect 8,000 in 10 minutes. Departure 120.75, squawk 3071.
So I'll go ahead and pull up my flight plan. I go to route. There's St. Augustine to Fort Lauderdale Exec. Go ahead and activate route. And it is now entered. I'm going to put this on map mode, my little data section, and I will put this on my SVS page. And St. Augustine ground, bearing 3175 Whiskey at Atlantic, ready to taxi to the active.
75 Whiskey, runway 31 taxi, cross runway 2, cross runway 6, left Delta, right Bravo.
31 cross 26, left Delta, right Bravo, 3175 Whiskey. St. Augustine Tower, bearing 3175 Whiskey is ready to go for on 31.
Bearing 3175 Whiskey, St. Augustine Tower, after departure, turn right heading to 090, climbing to maintain 3000. Runway 13, correction, runway 31, full length, clear for takeoff.
Right 090 up to 3000, clear for takeoff, 75 Whiskey. Actually, towers, anyway, I can get a left to 090 for 3175 Whiskey.
3175 Whiskey, just as right after I cleared you, approach did call. After departure, turn left heading 270 now. Maintain 3000, clear for takeoff.
Left 270 up to 3000, clear for takeoff, 75 Whiskey. Clear right, that's much better. Clear left.
Air 70 Romeo Delta, traffic with departing runway 31 with a west turn, climbing to 3000. Runway 31, clear to land. Roger, clear to land 31 now.
Gauges in the green. Fuel flow. Airspeed alive. $84 knots. Positive rate. Gear up. And power back to 2500. 500 feet. Left to 270. $1,000 feet.
3175 Whiskey, contact Jack for departure.
Over departure, good day. Thanks for your help, Single Whiskey. Jack for departure, bearing 3175 Whiskey is with you out of 1.4 for 3000.
From 9 Golf Kilo, descend and maintain 3000. Number 3175 Whiskey, Jack's departure, ident.
Ident, 75 Whiskey.
Number 75 Whiskey, radar contact 4 miles west of the St. Augustine Airport. I maintain 3000. What's your cruising speed going to be at altitude?
Should be about 170, 180 true.
Roger that. Navy Lima 88, turn left heading 080, maintain
Traffic
3000.
ahead to my right, be about 1,000 feet ahead, above me, looks like 4,000 feet. Traffic to my left, at my current altitude.
Baron 7-5 Whiskey, just a short delay for your climb. Let's do a heading of 320 vector climb, maintain 8,000.
320 up to 8,000 for 7 Whiskey.
Yeah, you have some traffic. We can't get you to course, so as soon as we get above that 4,000 traffic, we'll get you on course.
Roger that, 10 Whiskey, thanks for your help. That's the traffic that I was just referring to.
November 75 Whiskey, turn left heading 240.
240, left 240, 7 Whiskey.
November 75 Whiskey, clear direct Ormond Beach.
Direct Ormond, 7 Whiskey. Alright, that'd be 159.
November 75 Whiskey, maintain 8,000, contact Daytona approach 118.85, 1885, take care.
1885, 7 Whiskey, good day. Good evening, Daytona approach, Baron 3175 Whiskey is 6.7 for 8,000, direct Ormond.
3175 Whiskey, Daytona approach, Daytona altimeter 3009er.
009er, 7 Whiskey.
75 Whiskey, you had a citation, go through the weather you're seeing at your 11 o'clock to your 1 o'clock in about 20 miles. They were at 11,000, minor precipitation, a little bit of a bumpy ride. If you want to go southbound for a little bit and then maybe southeast bound to cut through some holes in the precipitation just south of Ormond and north of Daytona, we can do that too.
Yeah, that sounds like a good plan for 3175 Whiskey.
November 75 Whiskey, fly heading 170. Let me know if you'd like something different.
170, yeah, probably need another, say, 10 or 20 to the right, 7 Whiskey.
You want your own navigation, 75 Whiskey, and when you can, turn towards Melbourne?
Yeah, that would work for 75 Whiskey.
75 Whiskey, deviations approved, maintain 8,000, advise direct Melbourne.
We'll advise direct Melbourne, 75 Whiskey. Thanks for your help.
We're not going to go for did you check on?
Alright. So we're going to do our own navigation, and then we're going to go direct Melbourne when able. So as you may be able to see on IFT 100, there's some weather all around me. You might be able to see out the window. We are in and out of some clouds. Got a little bit of a build up to the left. So we have our own navigation, so I'm going to go a little more right.
Yeah, Daytona.
To avoid that build up.
2529 Golf Bravo, we're 10,000. Got a question?
Baron 3175 Whiskey, you'd like to request 10,000 when able?
3175 Whiskey, climb maintain 10,000.
Up to 10, 10,000, 7 Whiskey. Alright. Get a little more altitude going. All this weather a little while to help me get over the tops of some more of this. Let's give me a little better view of what's going on out here.
Baron 75 Whiskey, the small break in the precipitation I see is just south of Ormond and just northwest of Daytona. Do you have some weather on board?
Affirm, 75 Whiskey.
You see what I'm talking about?
Roger, I do. The weather's moving to the east, correct?
Pretty much stationary, if anything, very slowly east-northeast. That area is about 5-mile break, and you could maybe get through it and get on the other side of it on your way towards the Melbourne-Fort Lauderdale area. If you want to stay southbound on 180 heading, you might have to be about another 50 miles or so until we can get you back out to the east on course.
Roger, let me get up to 10,000 and see how big the buildups are, and I'll get back to you if you don't mind, 7 Whiskey.
Not a problem, let me know. 9 Air Golf Bravo, what's it look like off to your right?
Not too good.
Okay, what about directly off your right, just around the Orman area?
Hold on 1 second.
That's your 3-4 o'clock.
It looks like it's opening up.
Okay, thanks. And how was your ride at 10,000?
Yeah, it's smooth there.
And Daytona Baron 3175 Whiskey. How about 30 to my right, 30 to the west for me? And just go on the backside of this weather?
Alright, so you wanted to turn 30 right and then try and get back to the southeast around that in about 50 miles, that's what you want to do?
Affirm, yeah, I think it's a safer route, smoother route, 75 Whiskey.
Legacy 9 Golf Bravo, expedite descent through 6,000 for traffic.
Okay, quickly down through 6, 9 Golf Bravo.
75 Whiskey, 30 degrees right approved, maintain 10,000, advise when able, heading 180.
30 to the right, we'll advise when I can go 180, 75 Whiskey. Thanks for your help, I appreciate it.
Daytona approach 939 Quebec. We'd like to do some deviations right up the course.
Yeah, there's probably a window that he's talking about.
6K back, Daytona approach. Daytona
I see what he's talking about.
Altitude.
7,000.
Over 96K back. You want to turn northwest now?
However, I don't know that I want to.
Northeast and then cut back over to the west after Daytona.
We're 96K back. Deviations to the right are approved. Maintain 7,000. Advise when able, heading 360.
7,000. Deviations to the course and we'll advise when.
I don't really want to try to mess with that. It's building up. It looks pretty tall. And the pie rep was good, but I'm not sure what kind of airplane that was. I could ask, but backside of the weather is just as good. I'm not in that big of a rush, and I have plenty of fuel. Over 3.5 hours, 3 hours and 40 minutes of fuel. I could circle the state, no problem.
Welcome, Baron 75 Whiskey. You still need the heading, or how about 190?
375 Whiskey is currently on a 185 heading.
75 Whiskey, Roger, and safe flight conditions.
Currently I'm clear. Looks like there's a little bit in front of me, but I'm currently clear and smooth.
75 Whiskey, you might need another 10 or 15 right and 15 to 20 miles, but on course towards the east end of the coastline in about 30 or 35 miles or so.
Roger that. I'll go ahead and do 10-15 to the right now, and then we'll come around the back.
75 Whiskey, Roger.
That's what he's seeing, so I think that's what he's trying to keep me from, which I see here as well, building on
Bonanza 96
on my radar.
Stay heading.
96 Quebec, we're on a 290 heading now.
Smooth ride?
Yeah, we're doing pretty good, thank you.
Okay, it looks clear ahead.
It looks like we're going to break out again, but it's pretty smooth, and it looks like we're going to get clear here soon.
Yeah, about maybe 8 miles or so, then you can go towards Craig. Just let me know when it opens up to your right and when you want to go to Craig.
Thank you.
75 Whiskey, fly heading 160.
160 and heading, 7 Whiskey.
So pitch 40, traffic, 12 o'clock, 5 miles westbound out of 6 for 8 to the T190.
So we're currently on a 160 heading, which puts us right behind this little cell. They mentioned they offered for me to go east earlier. I elected to go behind it.
1737, contact Jack Center, 135.75.
It does a fairly safe choice.
500 by 1737.
So, but I do want to give a shout out if I have any controllers that watch my channel, especially those in Florida, and specifically today, Daytona Beach. You rock. Thank you very much. But all the ATC in Florida with all this weather we get, you guys are awesome, and I can't thank you enough for looking out for us and looking out for me and keeping me safe. So, on behalf of all the pilots, especially those of us in GA, I want to thank you all personally. So, thanks again. You guys rock.
210, 345.
And you can see ahead of me, there's a nice little opening on this 160 heading. It's going to put us right between those two clouds. And we're actually going to stay at DMC probably for the rest of this flight.
345.
November 75 Whiskey, turn left hand 130.
Ooh. Put me right into that. Left 130 for some Whiskey. Okay, and I spoke a hair too soon. But this doesn't look like much. I don't see anything on the radar. This is delayed, so I can't completely go by this.
We're looking and we're stopping.
I trust my airborne a little more than I trust.
490, get right through 13,000, please. Right up through 13. Spirit 878, contact Jack
The
Center.
one little dot right here. I don't
6.35.
know if you can see it on the camera or not, but there's one little dot of heavy precip right off my left, which is what it's seeing right here.
Delta 1061, climb and maintain 16,000.
Orlando approach, Baron 3175, whiskey level 10,000.
Baron 3175, whiskey, Orlando approach, final altimeter 3005.
005, Simple. And Orlando, can I get about 10 degrees to the right for 3175 whiskey?
75 whiskey, 10 degrees, right to approach.
Get away from this little bit of bumpiness. Little chop out is all right now, but
For 75 whiskey, when you're able, proceed direct to Melbourne.
direct to Melbourne when able, suppose. So all this weather brings up a good topic, which is single pilot IFR. And arguably single pilot IFR is some of the most difficult flying to do, because unlike the big boys and even the commuter jets and private jets that are dual pilot operation, as a single pilot IFR you have the responsibility of 2 people, all yourself, and you also don't have someone to share the workload, which means that you have to aviate, navigate, communicate all yourself. And the key to doing that in IMC and in weather and everything else is to stay ahead of the airplane. The single most important thing you can do is stay ahead of the airplane. And for those of you that are pilots that follow my videos, I'm sure you've heard that in flight instructions: stay ahead of the airplane, stay ahead of the airplane, stay ahead of the airplane. And so that takes on a different meaning when you are flying IFR, IMC, single pilot. I think than it did during my training and does during your training. Because even in training, you're staying ahead, but you got someone looking after you. And most of your training, unfortunately, even IFR training, you're under the hood, but you're not typically dealing with all the aspects of everyday real world flying and the weather involved and all that. So staying ahead of the airplane, what does that mean? Well, it means knowing what you need to do 2 steps ahead and keeping your mind 2 steps ahead of the airplane. 2 steps ahead of what you're doing flying wise.
1322.
So that means if you are as you're flying, if you're climbing, you need to be thinking about your level off before you get to your altitude. You need to think about what you're doing after you're leveling off. Are you adjusting your props? Are you closing your cowl flaps? Are you leaning the engine? What are you doing? And always be staying ahead. And that's where one of the perks you've heard me talk about many times is flying by numbers. And that's where that comes into play and is very useful. As here we go, we're entering IMC. Getting a little bit of turbulence. Little downdraft. Little updraft. Nice little bump. Then pull the power back. Slow down a little bit. And there we are, and we're out of that. And back to full power. So for those of you horn pilots who are wondering why I pulled the power back, I pulled the power back to slow down, because slowing down does two things. One is it helps reduce the turbulence. It also puts you into what's called maneuvering speed. And maneuvering speed is where if you hit anything severe that the airplane would normally stall before causing any damage to the airplane. So, but the biggest thing is, because that wasn't severe by any means, but the biggest thing is you slow down, it helps make the bumps a little smoother and easier. So, going back to the topic, you're hearing me talk about fly-by numbers, and so that's where that comes into play. So flying by numbers allows me to, as I'm climbing, I know that when I'm getting ready to level off, instead of leveling off, hunting for my trim, for example, figuring out my power setting, and letting the airplane get ahead of me while I'm trying to navigate. I'm in IMC, talking to controllers, dealing with weather. If you have passengers, any distractions they might provide. There's a lot going on, and so you need to combat that and stay ahead of everything and plan for what you're doing. So flying by numbers is a big thing. So one of the things I do for flying by numbers, which you've seen me do many times, is like my trim setting, for example. I know what my trim setting needs to be for level flight, and typically that puts me right at the 3 degree for my airplane. It's 3 degrees nose down, or I shouldn't say degrees, but it's 3 on the indicator, and typically it's anywhere from the center part of the 3 to the upper part of the 3, anywhere in between there. So it gets me a good starting point. I can set it, and I'll actually set my trim before I even set adjust my power and even level off. And so when I set my trim, I'll then maintain the pressure of the yoke in my hand, and then as I'm leveling off, I start to release that pressure that I'm holding to maintain my climb, and it starts to level off. So you've got to stay ahead, not just in climb, but even navigation. Where are you going? I see a lot of people that will go single pilot IFR, and they'll put in part of their flight plan in initially, and then they're like, oh, I'll do the rest in the air. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not criticizing them by any means. I mean, you want to expedite your takeoff, and depending on what kind of GPS you have, that definitely, some of them would take a lot of entry to do, especially the old Garmin 430s. So that definitely can help expedite things. But if you take off and now you're IMC and you've got to enter flight plans, you're not staying ahead of the airplane. You have a lot of stuff you have to do, and you're adding to your workload. Even if you are staying ahead of the airplane, you're adding to your workload, and it's something that could come back to bite you at some point. Or even if you haven't put in all your flight plan and they give you a direct to somewhere in your flight plan that's farther down the road and you don't have it entered yet, now you're scrambling searching for that. So even your navigation, put that in ahead of time. Think about what frequency you're going to talk to next. If you're listening on the radio, go ahead and listen to who you're going to talk to next. So in my case here, I'm flying towards Melbourne, and I happen to know that once I'm just outside Melbourne, they're going to put me on 3225, which is Miami Center. So I'll go ahead and load up Miami Center 3225, put it in my standby, and so now I'm staying ahead. So when they actually call to make that change, all I got to do is flop my frequency. I don't have to go and then enter it into my frequency. If you have ADS-B in, go ahead and look ahead of time at your destination airport. Go ahead and go to the info page on the Aberdeen unit or whatever unit you're using, and go ahead and look at the weather. So in this case, here we are. We haven't even reached Melbourne yet for our flight, and I can look ahead and I can see what the weather is. So currently it's giving me the weather for Melbourne, but what I actually want is the weather for Fort Lauderdale exec. So I'll go ahead and put in Fort Lauderdale exec, enter, and I'll come and I'll look at the METAR. And so now I can see the winds are 130 at 9 knots, visibility 10, clouds are few at 5,000. So that lets me know that I'm going to be landing on runway 9. So I can already start thinking ahead. I'm going to be landing on runway 9. I'm going to be landing toward the east. The winds are just 9 knots, so that's good. This VTOR is 57 minutes old, so it'll update soon. And of course, as I get closer, I'll listen to ATIS. But I already have a mental picture in my head, so I can stay ahead to what to expect. So even with knowing that, I can go ahead and go to my flight plan, my FMS, and go ahead and enter into my destination, and go ahead and put runway 9 in there, so I have a reminder that's runway 9.
Land departure to the 958, we're on a...
If I really want to be proactive,
1.4 for 5,000.
I know that my approach will be the ILS into 9. So I can go ahead and enter that.
4,000
and I can even enter the initial approach specs, Enver, and just have that loaded up. And so now my approach is already loaded up into my flight plan. And as you can see here, it's all here, it's good to go. So I've already got my approach loaded. As I get closer, if I listen to the ATIS and I hear the ILS is out of service, I can switch it to the RNAV. But generally speaking, I know I'm good. I checked the NOTAMs, so I didn't see anything in there about the ILS being out of service. So needless to say, I'm pretty sad.
International arrival information, Juliet, current altimeter 3006.
So it's little things like that. Just staying ahead, thinking about what's coming, listening to the radio, listening to what other people are talking about. All of a sudden you start hearing chatter about people, even if you don't have airborne radar, and even if you don't have ADS-BN, and you start hearing chatter on the radio about deviations for weather. Try to listen to see where they're at. Try to picture in your head what's going on, and get an idea of the picture of what's happening. Stay ahead of what's going on. Single Pilot IFR, if you have an autopilot, use it. You know, there's a time and a place for hand flying, and when you can hand fly it, you need the skill, you need to practice it by all means. But if you're busy, if you're active.
Number 7, correction, number 3175 Whiskey, contact Miami Center 132.25. Good night.
3225, 75 Whiskey, good night. So there's that handoff we talked about.
Zero arrival.
419 Miami Center, welcome, Orlando altimeter 3004.
3004 in that 419.
Good evening, Miami Center, Baron 3175 Whiskey is with you, 10,000.
Number 3175 Whiskey, Miami Center, roger, return 30 degrees to the right, you can expect direct Pahokee, and altimeter is 3006, corporate.
30 right, expect direct Pahokee for some of us. Alright, so expect direct Pahokee. So I'm going to go ahead and put my little cursor on the Pahokee and go back to my map page. And what that does is when they actually give me direct Pahokee, I just have to hit the direct button, and it already knows to load up Pahokee as my direct 2 point, so I don't have to enter it. I preset it. And that's another example of staying ahead. You know what's coming, go ahead and do it. But as far as the autopilot's concerned, don't be afraid to use it. There's no shame in it. You know, when you're busy, use it. When you can hand fly by all means. But you know, when you're getting lots of vectors and maneuvering, and you got to worry about direct 2 and focusing on weather, and you have to divide your attention, using an autopilot is kind of like having a second pilot in the airplane. So if you have it, use it.
958 is,
if you don't, by all means, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. But when you can, it's your friend. So it's a second pilot. Future second pilot. And staying ahead of the airplane
Miami, good evening, jet speed 216, 11,000.
is something that you need to do from the start of your flight till the wheels down. And so even on approach, as you're approaching, start thinking about your approach. Slow down. Start slowing down early. Don't keep it going, and all of a sudden you find you're high and fast. Another thing you can do that comes in handy, depending if you have the unit, or you can just do it mathematically, is I like to go ahead and put in what altitude I want to be at ahead of time at a certain point, so I can create my VNAV. So when I'm flying, I know if I start approaching that 500-foot vertical speed required, I'll start asking for lower, because ATC may, give you a slam dunk approach. They may be busy, may be preoccupied. The jets, flying descending 1,000 feet, 2,000 feet a minute isn't that big of a deal. For us, obviously, we don't want to do that. I found 500 feet is a great descent rate. It's nice and smooth. I don't get too fast. It's what I prefer. It's where I'm most comfortable. So adding that profile allows you to stay ahead, and so when you start seeing you're approaching 400 feet, 450 feet, you can start calling ahead to ATC and asking them for lower. They may or may not be able to give it to you depending on traffic and other factors.
Yeah, they haven't held.
But
okay.
Don't be afraid to ask them. They're your friend. They're not here to hurt you or to work against you or to make your flight more difficult. Miami Center Baron 3175 Whiskey. Do you want me to stay on this heading, or do you want me to intercept my course to Pahokee?
3175 Whiskey, my apologies. Clear direct Pahokee. Join Victor 437 to Brickell. It should be the same Victor Airway that's 267 is on. Then after Brickell direct.
Affirm, direct Pahokee 437, Brickell direct, 75 Whiskey. Alright.
958, contact Miami Center, 119.82.
I had a sneaky suspicion you forgot about me.
Delta 958, good day.
So I'm currently 68 nautical miles from Pahokee. I've gone ahead and loaded up the ATIS for Fort Lauderdale exec. I am still quite a distance from Fort Lauderdale sec. I'm 106 miles, but again, staying ahead of the airplane. Go ahead, having it loaded. I'm not going to use my second navcom for anything at this point, other than listening to my ATIS, so there's no reason not to put it up, and I can start listening, monitoring it whenever I think I'm going to get it.
124.8, American 1834.
So I have this set. You can see green here. This is actually ground returns. This is not weather that's in front of me. And so the reason I have it set that way, I'll go ahead and zoom into 20 miles. And ground returns lets me know that my radar is indeed working. And with it set at 20 miles from the ground return, anything that moves inside of that 20-mile mark lets me know that that is actual weather that is in between me and the ground returns. So I could make the ground returns go away, but then if my radar were to fail, then I would not have any indication that my radar failed, and I could think I'm seeing a clear sky when indeed I am not. So when the radar's on, you want to have some form of ground return showing up on there. And that just gives you confirmation that your radar is in
maintain 8,000.
out of 10 for 8,000 suppose. Perfect, which is actually what I wanted to start doing. Go ahead and pull the power back. So you'll see on my radar here, it's a great example of ground return. You see there's nothing there. And hopefully you can see it with the CRT tends to have lines in it. But that opening where there's nothing is actually the lake, because the lake is reflective and will not give a return. Or I guess it's absorbent. Not sure how you'd phrase that, but basically it won't give a return, and so that's why you see the opening, and once again showing you that that is indeed ground return and not weather. So it looks like all that routing around the weather, added about 20 minutes to the flight. Not too bad. Again, I could have probably taken the shortcut they offered, which probably wouldn't have changed my flight plan too much, maybe 5 minutes or so, maybe 10. But for an extra 10-15 minutes, I just assumed take the easier path.
Turn 75 Whiskey, just gonna maintain 3,000.
Down to 3,000, 75 Whiskey. Miami approach, bearing 3175 Whiskey's level 3000, no joy on traffic.
November 7, correction, 3175 Whiskey, Miami approach, Fort Lauderdale Executive Airport information is Quebec, altimeter 3006, expect visual approach.
Have Quebec and we'll expect a visual for 75 Whiskey.
November 75 Whiskey, the traffic that we're talking about is about still 9 or south of you orbiting at 2600. Would you like runway 13 or runway 9 into Fort Lauderdale Executive Airport?
I'll take 9 over 75 Whiskey.
November 75 Whiskey, descend and maintain 1,500.
Down to 1,500, 75 Whiskey. Alright.
Miami 722 serial name is 2,500, heading 360.
November 722
Go ahead and load tower.
Miami departure, climb maintain VFR 4,500, stand by for your clearance.
I'll go ahead and put
VFR 4,500, 722 serial name.
as a backup.
Wing 710, proceed to Bayak.
My second nav. Although I will switch over once they switch me over, because next person I'm talking to will be tower.
416, Gulf Popper is with you, 1,000, climb to 2,000.
Baron 3175 Whiskey, Fort Lauderdale Executive Airport. Almost there, 11 o'clock and 9 miles advised when you have inside.
We'll advise 7 Whiskey.
Wing 710, contact 97133.4.
75 Whiskey has field in sight.
Baron 3175 Whiskey, clear visual approach on May 9, contact Fort Lauderdale Executive Town 20.9.
Clear the visual of the tower, thanks for your help, 75 Whiskey.
Number 6, call Papa.
Hey, Executive Tower, Baron 3175 Whiskey is with you on the visual for 9er.
075 Whiskey, head down, you're on Cherokee, 4 mile bound, runway 9, cleared to land, wind 1206.
Number 2, clear to land, 75 Whiskey. In gear speed, so I'm going to go ahead and lower the gear.
Security 1 is clear, 13 on Golf, outside to continue inspections after 9, east of 13.
3 green, 1 mirror.
Voice 0, shut 913, security 1.
75 Whiskey, you're number 1 now, runway 9, clear to land.
Number 1, clear to land on 9er, 75 Whiskey. Alright, gear down, flap speed. Go ahead and lower my flaps.
Number 2 on X-ray, Lieutenant Dan, taxi to World Cities. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. Good night.
142 on X-ray, thanks a lot for the long landing, and we'll see you later in the week. Have a great night.
Thanks. Baron 75 Whiskey, say parking.
Say no for 75 Whiskey.
75 Whiskey, right turn on Delta or DN, taxi to Sano, this frequency. Good night.
I'll go to the end and this frequency. Good night, 75 Whiskey. Perfect. Don't have to use any brakes. Let it roll on out. Well, I hope you enjoyed the flight. I hope you got a little example of some weather. Talked about a little single pilot IFR. So please feel free to put in the comments if you wanted to continue the discussion. Also, if you appreciate my video, thumbs up and subscribe is greatly appreciated. I also will be having some giveaways coming up soon. All you have to do is be subscribed to my channel. Also go on to Facebook and look up Baron Pilot. It's easy to remember, same name as this channel. And subscribe to, or like that page, like and follow that page as well. And so anyone who subscribes to my YouTube channel and likes and follows my Facebook channel will automatically be registered and eligible. Alright, well, thank you for coming with me, and I hope you enjoyed the flight, and I will see you on the next one.